All right. That was a great idea, our new little starting soon thing. So welcome back to Let's Do Video Live. Welcome back, viewers, and good to see you again, Tim. How's it going?
Likewise, David. Yeah.
I hope our viewers aren't getting sick of us. We did an extra stream. We got had some extra content because we had our Zoho day a few days ago. That was a great event. Just as long as we're here, thank the Zoho team again. And if you didn't catch that episode live, just click down in the YouTube channel thing, and you guys know how YouTube works. You could find the video there. But happy Friday. Is it just me? This week seems like it's been a very long week.
It seems like a very long week. It's funny. January
Okay.
seems like a really long month. February seems really short, but the weeks seem to get longer. I don't know. I think I'm
Uh,
caught in some sort of time space wormhole or something. I don't know.
ever since the pandemic, I've been in that wormhole. So we have a few things to talk about today. Let's start. Let's do it alphabetically. Let's start with Amazon Chime. I put up news for the stories that we're covering, and this is the least enticingly graphic page. It's a very bald page. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to offend, but a very bare page, let's say. Um, and just yeah, we're done. No more Chime.
Yeah, very factual page, as you rightly point out. So Amazon sort of announced that it's going to cease support for its UC service, Chime. I think we were looking back and realized that Chime was actually released at Enterprise Connect, I think, way back in 2017. So it's been around for
Sounds
some
right.
time. But I guess it just hasn't got the sort of support and the adoption and the market share that Amazon actually wanted. So we've been told that it's going to be discontinued by February 2026 and that the service is going to stop accepting new customers next month. Well, this month, actually. Sorry, February 19th.
Yeah, and everyone in LinkedIn is just dunking on them. I mean, it is a bloodbath in there. And Chime, we haven't taken it seriously in years. It's been internal use only, right? If you work at Amazon, you use Chime. Otherwise, no one used Chime. I mean,
Yeah, it never really seemed to get much adoption. In fact, if you read some of the press announcements, um, Amazon themselves have transitioned to Zoom and Microsoft 365. So it's sort of announced that it's adopting Zoom as its main internal meeting application and phasing out Chime due to its limited external use. So it feels like that area is just being deprecated.
there's a lot to talk about there because all the Zoomies are saying, oh, they could be using Teams, but they're using Zoom. Ha ha ha! They're choosing to use Zoom, and a lot of analysts are saying Amazon is way more competitive with Microsoft than it is with Zoom. It might just be. Let's use it as little Microsoft as possible. Not anything against Zoom, but it might not be love for Zoom as much as uh, unlove, trying to be nice here, for Microsoft. They want to use as little Microsoft as possible, and they're still using Office 365. You
Well,
can't
the
get
other th-
away from it.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that's quite interesting as well, and we're seeing this broadly as a consideration for enterprises, is they're looking at using the Microsoft Office suite for E3. And then because Zoom's got some very elegant and useful integration with Microsoft 365, they're using Zoom for all of the UC and collaboration and email and scheduling and Zoom docs, et cetera, et cetera. So we're seeing very much this dual vendor support. Zoom for UC&C and Microsoft obviously for office productivity, things like OneDrive for huge terabyte storage of your hard drive essentially up in the cloud. So it might be that Amazon's deciding on that sort of strategy where they've got a dual vendor strategy.
And this is Zoom must be so happy because that's the message they've been pushing for 18 months, 2 years now. They're like, oh no, it's not Zoom or Microsoft. We're not fighting that fight anymore. It's we know you're using Microsoft stuff. Zoom works really good with it. Zoom and Microsoft. And our analysts have been saying, all right, that's what Zoom's saying. Let's see what the market says. Let's see if it sticks. And a big market player said, yeah, that works for us. So I think Zoom must be very happy about it. There are things that they can't compete with Microsoft, and the things that Zoom does better. You know, Microsoft also does those things, but you could use Zoom for those things. You could do a mixed environment. So this is, and of course, it's still a win for Microsoft because despite everything, they're still using Microsoft. So it's kind of a win for everyone except Chime.
Yes, unfortunately so. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I've mixed feelings because it's nice to have more players in the market, more innovation, more competition, but at this point, it, we're down to the Royal Rumble. There's less wrestlers in the ring. They keep throwing them over the ropes. It kind of makes things simpler for everyone if there's less choices. So
It does, and I guess this is the classic sort of do we continue pumping money into it? Is it our primary sales motion? If you look at AWS and everything they do up in the cloud, maybe Chime was one of those services where they thought, it's nice to have, but it's not part of our strategic portfolio.
yeah, it's not doing anything for them.
No.
So should we move on to the next story? We have three stories from RingCentral. They just pumped out a bunch of announcements. Hey, by the way, good advice. If you want to be on the show, pump out a bunch of announcements on Wednesdays and Thursdays, right? It'll be on our emails. The first one is their numbers are good, right? I'm not usually the numbers guy. I like the products and the people more, but numbers are important, and these are good ones.
Yeah, they had an earnings call. I think it was earlier in the week, may even been yesterday. I can't remember, but their latest financial earnings sort of highlighted quite a few really interesting points there. We saw that during a part of the announcements, the company said it's focusing on multicas, the integration of UCaaS and CCaaS. They're looking at leveraging AI, as everyone is, and we got some insights into a new virtual voice assistant there. We found out that Kira Makagun is promoted to president and chief operating officer. Their full year revenue was 2.4 billion, so it's gone up 9% year over year, outperforming the market according to Omdia, who think that we believe it's a 3.4% year over year UC uptick. Operating margin again for the full year 21%, so that's gone up. Free cash flow doing really well there as well. And I'm attending RingCentral's analyst event next week, so I'll be able to share more light on that update.
Nice.
But one thing that I found very interesting was they were looking at things like one of the key features there was the AI receptionist that I just previously spoke about. And basically what this is an AI solution for handling customer voice calls.
There we go. Is it the
Thank you. So yeah, that's great. So I don't know if RingCentral are calling it AIR or whether or not they call it AIR, but it's the AI receptionist. And what it allows you to do is you can answer customer questions, you can transfer calls, provide information like business hours and locations and all that sort of everyday stuff that a receptionist might have to deal with. So it's providing that extra level of assistance, I guess, to receptionists, because it's a big manual process, transferring calls all day long and repeating when your office hours are, et cetera, et cetera. So anything that AI can do to improve that sort of workflow, I think is really good. Aimed at small to mid-sized businesses, but it's scalable for larger enterprises. There's going to be some stuff in there that allows you to automatically use generative AI to call route to the right person or the department, for example. It allows you to do SMS confirmation. So if you have an appointment, you can send an SMS to confirm that appointment's been taken. It will give you transcripts and analytics for insights, and there's going to be custom voice and language options available. So it sounds like a really big push in AI from RingCentral there.
Yeah, I love this because, we're looking for good implementations of AI. We're having AI thrown at us on everything. And this really makes sense. There's been a need for a while. And a few years ago, I would have said, oh, no, I hate the idea of this solution because it wouldn't have worked. But AI is ready for it today. It could work today. And, I've worked in offices with receptionists. There's things that we need them to do as a person. And they spend 2/3 of their day taking the silly calls. The basic calls, yes, let me transfer you to number two. Yes, let me transfer you to number two.
What's your
let
address?
The AI do that
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. Let me give you our address or the very basic stuff. And it's like, we can have AI do that. And then we have more availability for that person to do things we need the person to do.
Yeah, and we've got things like intelligent meeting summaries, meeting recaps, transcriptions, closed captioning, all of that sort of thing. But this is the first thing that I've heard in terms of like a virtual receptionist, which I think is really, really good. It does show a significant amount of innovation on RingCentral's side there.
Yeah, and they get that of all the AI things, what we really love is the conversational stuff. Give me agentic, whatever we're calling it. Put it in. I mean, I love meeting summaries, but what I really love is I love talking to AI. When it's good, when it's right, when it knows what I'm talking about, when it's helpful, it's a great experience. So, uh, looking forward to checking that out.
Yeah.
You mentioned the appointment of Kira. From the way our little circles on LinkedIn are lighting up, um, this is a good thing for Ring Central.
I think so. Yeah, very, very technically competent person there. Great promotion. I think what it for me, I think what it shows is RingCentral moving forward in terms of innovation, and perhaps Kira's appointment to president and COO is sort of driving that innovative mindset forward.
Nice. Well, looking forward to. Well, I'm sure you're going to have a chance to chat with her at next week at the Ring Central event, and
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
yeah, looking forward to hearing what you learn. All right, moving on to our last story of the week. This one I'm particularly excited about. Zoom workflow automation. And there's a couple tabs on the same thing. And in your Zoom Workplace app, the tab says workflows, but they're clear that the product is Zoom workflow automation, because automation really is the big part of it. And I'm excited about this because, okay, it's a fun thing. Sometimes work can be a little bit of fun, and this is going to be fun for me as a nerd to kind of build all my little workflows. But also, it's sometimes I see things out in the consumer world that we don't have in business that we should have. And I'm not going to go off too much on this. I usually don't talk about the guitar stream here. I try to, let me zoom in a little bit. Let's get a little personal here. Try to keep the guitar stream stuff off of LinkedIn, but there are things I have in that guitar stream that I don't have set up in this stream that are automation things that are amazing that we should have in our workplace. Okay, when I start playing a song, I used to have a voice command, starting song. It's automated. It knows that I'm starting a song. It identifies and it switches the scene. It identifies what song I'm playing. If it's a song on a certain list, if it's a Van Halen song, the background changes to Van Halen. If it's a Led Zeppelin song, the background changes. I'm not pressing buttons, all automated. As I'm playing, it's listening to my notes, and if I'm hitting the notes right, I have a little a picture of a kitten, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And if I miss a note, it gets smaller. And when I start the song, a robot text to speech voice says, "David is about to play Panama by Van Halen. Rock on." And all of that is automated. When I start a song, and there's just more. That's enough. That's enough, David. Stop. But and at work, we don't have any of that. And there are things that I do more often than I do on my guitar stream. I do one guitar stream every couple of days. I do 10 Zoom meetings a day. So how about automation of when a meeting ends? Send messages to this chat channel. Send a meeting summary here. One that we're obviously going to use is start a Zoom doc, create a Zoom doc, and make the meeting summary, based on make the Zoom doc based on the meeting summary when the meeting ends. For certain meetings that are set at certain times, there's if and then stuff. So it's not just every meeting. When a meeting stops, if the meeting has Tim in it, do this. If the meeting has David in it, do this. If the meeting is, so this is going to be fun to build. This is going to be, I think when people see this in practice, they're going to be like, "Oh my God, this is so cool!" At the end of the week,
Yeah.
I get a summary with this and this.
Yeah, I think what I like about it is that sort of enterprise version of if this then that, or Zapier or Zapier, however you pronounce it.
Those are
Um,
fun too.
I Yeah, what I like about it is that all that, as you rightly point out, the setting up of triggers and steps to sort of automate processes like AI generated meeting summaries in Zoom docs, for example. Um, I'm looking forward to seeing what integration plans Zoom have here, because currently it integrates with Jira. So that sounds great. If you're a software developer with issues, it might be able to create some sort of trigger that allows you to start a Zoom doc to troubleshoot. It automates with Google Drive, OneDrive, Outlook, Google Calendar. I expect there's going to be a lot more to come.
Yeah, they
But
listed some
it
here.
also saves money as well, David. Just a bit of an insight at Omdia, we had a manual travel approval process. I used Microsoft Teams to do some workflow automation, which meant that I got a notification when someone decided they wanted to book travel to RingCentral or Zoom or Cisco or whoever. If it was over a certain amount, I had to escalate it to my manager. That was all done automatically. They just clicked approve and it all got sorted out. Previous to that, it was literally a paperwork exercise where we had
Mm.
to sign that we've signed off on that process. It took forever, and we estimated it saved about 300. How much was it? Oh, it's 35, something like £35,000 in
Wow.
terms of savings just through workflow automation. So not only is it fun, it allows you to focus on the important stuff that you need to do, takes care of everything else automatically. So I think this is a great opportunity for Zoom to sort of develop more in terms of workflow automation and make life fun again, make work fun without you having to deal with all the mundane stuff.
Yeah, and I love that it's so mainstream. If I always loved if this then that, but I felt like it was a nerdy thing. It was hard to convince regular people to use it. Everyone who used it loved it, but come on, it's it's not for everyone. Zoom's for everyone. This is going to get used, and what you ended on is really what I think the most important thing is the amount of time that we spend doing these maintenance things around our work. After meetings, sending up the follow up, sending the invites, sending the emails, creating the summaries. Just automate all that. Let us just work. Let the meeting end, and it's really it's feeling more and more like having a magic personal assistant taking care of the most boring parts of work.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with Zoom tasks as well, because if you can
Yeah.
pull out in a meeting that, David said that he's assigned a task to Tim, and then that gets put into a Zoom doc, that sort of, if you've got a regular stand-up meeting or a one-to-one meeting, to have that continued amount of action plans automatically laid out in a Zoom doc, I think would be extremely powerful. So I wouldn't be at all surprised to see that coming soon.
Yeah, it's funny. I always try to find the way to be silly about something, but I can't wait till everyone has Zoom tasks because I'm just going to start assigning people tasks. Because if I'm in a meeting with you, I know Zoom Task is listening. I could just drop, hey, Tim, make sure you don't forget to make a big cake for David's birthday. And Zoom Task is going to put that on your tasks. If I'm talking to a
Yeah,
client, I could say, oh, if Zoom Task is listening, make sure to tell client to put to set aside some budget for our next project. It's going to
yeah.
be on their task list.
Well, the other thing that's interesting as well, David, is of course, is you don't have all of the restrictions in terms of external participant access that you might have with other, other sort of collaboration products out there. I'm talking specifically about Microsoft Teams. It's always been very
Mm.
difficult to set up external participants. So if you can share a Google Drive across different domains, inter and intra company, it makes life really easy. Your suppliers, your partners, your customers can all work on a Zoom doc or um, automate some of that workflow with security and obviously with permissions in place. But for me, that's going to be a big, powerful thing. It's
Yeah,
not just going to be limited to your own internal deployments.
I don't want to be too much of a fan, but you said it, not me. It's just a lot easier for externals. I find myself, I'm in a lot of Teams meetings every week, and I'm in a lot of Zooms meetings every week. It's starting to kind of equal out. But when people invite me to a chat group, it's almost always Zoom chat. It's very rarely. I'm in both, obviously, but my Zoom chats lighten up all day. You and I are in a couple different analyst friendly little clicky group chats, and they're
Uh-huh.
all on Zoom. We don't unless some of you are all on Teams and not inviting me. But it seems like all of our little social chat groups are on Zoom because it's so easy to just start it and create it. You don't have to worry about licenses or anything.
Yeah, and I think this is. I have a feeling, and maybe someone like Tom Abathnot or Kevin Keeler would be able to sort of confirm this. But I have a feeling that it's largely because Teams is built upon SharePoint permissions, and it's a little more complex in terms of. Well, some people might say complex, some people might say secure, but it's a little more hard
It's fair.
for IT to facilitate some of those permissions that you might need for external participants. So I have a feeling it's about the architecture of the solution and maybe not anything else. But yeah, very exciting developments, and I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah. All right. With that, can we call it a weekend? I still have a few more meetings today, but but you're
I
you're
think we're
uh
there.
you're ahead of me. It's almost dinner time for you.
Yeah, not too far away. Not too far away. I think I'll have a nice cup of tea and try and
Nice.
sort my packing out for next week.
All right. All right. Well, I hope you have a great trip. I can't wait to hear what you learned. And thanks everyone for watching. I really need to have a button for my I'm afraid to make a button for the end the stream, because if I hit it by accident, I think it should be a very manual process to end the stream. But then the end of every stream, I'm always like, okay, hello, I'm going to be awkward for a few seconds here.
You need to use
Right.
Zoom workflow automation for that, David.
Yeah, yeah. Or maybe a voice command or something. All right. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Take care.